Welcome back, race fans, once again to the Daytona International Speedway, getting set for the second race of the night. Duel race number 2 that will set the outside row for Sunday's Daytona 500. The first duel race was definitely an action-packed race, and I would assume we will see nothing but the same as we roll into this next race. 19 of Martin Truex Jr. will be leading the field of green in duel number 2, as he'll be the outside pole center for Sunday's race of the 500, with Kyle Larson starting on the outside of this next race. And this next race is going to be a new race with new drivers with different agendas. But one thing that will stay the same is the talk of who races their way into a Great American Race. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Daytona Beach, Florida, under the lights as we get set to form the official starting grid for the 64th running of the Daytona 500. We have 23 cars lined up on pit lane getting set to go here at Daytona. 23 cars that will be led by the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. On the outside, like we said, it will be the 5 of Kyle Larson, followed by Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, and Alex Bowman. That will be the top 5. And there's a look at the cars on the starting grid, but we look a little bit further back. There's the 44 of Greg Biffle. He'll be rolling 14th on the grid. He is locked into the Daytona 500, that 44, owned by John Cohen in Wire Racing. They had a lot of support from Richard Childress Racing here in the last couple of weeks that helped put this car together, helped put this deal together with Greg Biffle. And now the Vancouver Washington will race in the Great American Race for the first time since 2016. Behind him on the grid is the 66. That is J.J. Yeley. Now, unlike Greg Biffle, Yeley is not locked in. But unlike the 3 drivers behind him on the grid that have to race their way in, Yeley could fall back on his qualifying speed should Greg Biffle races his way into the show. So Biffle is in. Yeley could fall back on his qualifying if need be, but when you look at the 50 of Kaz Grala, the same cannot be said, because the 50 of Kaz Grala, this is the Money Team Racing, a team that we thought was a fictional team, a team that we didn't think was even real, but it is real. Co-owned by Floyd Mayweather, the boxer, and now Grala looks to get this car in the show in the Daytona 500, but Grala has to race his way in. He cannot fall back on qualifying. Grala must race his way in. The same can be said for the 27. There's the 27 of Jacques Villeneuve, the former F1 champion. This is Team Hesselberg, a new team on pit lane, a new team in the Cup Series garage. This team will be running part-time with Loris Heismans on the road courses a little bit later on in the year. This team hopes to run full-time in 2023, but right now they're just trying to get their feet wet here in the Cup Series. And what a better place to do so than the Daytona 500. The final driver who must race his way in the 55, that is a look at the 55, that is Josh Williams, a longtime competitor in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, moved over to BJ McLeod's Xfinity program during the offseason, and that move gave him an opportunity to attempt to run the Daytona 500. This is a second car out of Live Fast Motorsports, teammate to BJ McLeod's from 78 entry that we saw in the first duel race. So that is a look at the 5 drivers that will be trying to race their way into the Daytona 500. But for the other 18 drivers in the field, they're looking for a win. Martin Truex Jr. has never won a race on a super speedway in the Cup Series, which is crazy to say considering how much success he's had on other tracks and how much success he's had on super speedways in the Xfinity Series way back in the day when he was driving for DEI. So we'll see if his Bass Pro Shops Toyota can pull something together and get him a win here tonight, as 10 points are on the line. Remember, you do get points for winning this race. And the pace car will lead the field onto the track, and we will get set for duel race number 2. Down below, your starting grid will appear. I need to see where your favorite drivers will start here in duel race number 2. race that will set the outside grid for Sunday's Daytona 500. Martin Truex, the 19, the 20 of Christopher Bell, the only 2 Joe Gibbs cars. With the 45 of Kurt Busch, only 3 Toyotas in this race. So the Toyotas are definitely going to be a disadvantage for them, as they are going to be surrounded by a bunch of Chevrolet bow ties and a bunch of blue ovals here as we get set to go here at Daytona. We are going to go to a commercial break, and the green flag here at Daytona will be coming up right after this break here on the 4Wild Broadcasting Network. Don't go away, as the second race of the BlueGreen Vacation Duels will be getting set to begin here momentarily. We are live back here at Daytona, getting set here for the start of Duel Race number 2 here at Daytona. Under the lights, 23 drivers will get set to tackle the Daytona International Speedway. Martin Truex Jr. leading the field of green, but we have 4 drivers trying to race their way into the Daytona 500. You have the 66 of J.J. Yeley, the 50 of Kaz Grala, 27 of Jacques Villeneuve, the 55 of Josh Williams. Drivers will be trying to race their way into the Daytona 500. 44, Greg Biffle, the other open car, but he is guaranteed a spot in the field for Sunday's race. But up here at the front, Martin Truex Jr. has never won a super speedway race in the Cup Series, not a points-paying race or an exhibition race. He's on the front row with the reigning Cup Series champion Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, and Kurt Busch. The top 3 rows, they exit turn number 4. The pace car will take that sharp left turn into pit lane, putting the field in the hands of Martin Truex Jr., who will lead us down to the green flag and get us underway here at Daytona. You saw it right there, just like the first duel race, the leader gets out to a pretty good lead, and that's what we saw right there with the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. 3 wide for second place. How about the 6 of Brad Keselowski getting pushed on the outside by the 10 of Aric Almirola. Kyle Larson stuck in the middle. Chase Elliott, his teammate, on the bottom with the 48 of Alex Bowman pushing him. But as they come off turn number 4 to complete lap number 1, it will be the 19 on point. Martin Truex leads the opening lap here in duel race number 2. But for how long, guys? Brad Keselowski got a great push from Aric Almirola. He jumps to the outside of the 19, but Almirola goes 3 wide on the outside. He's getting pushed by the 12 of Ryan Blaney. And Blaney getting very aggressive, trying to make it 4 wide, trying to go through the middle in that 12 car, but he may end up screwing himself as the 14 Chase Briscoe now to the outside lane in the 14 car. The top 3 get single file. Truex, Elliott, Bowman, now Keselowski, but they are 4 wide back here. Larson again still in the middle lane. Ryan Blaney and Christopher Bell. And passing them on the inside, the 44, Greg Biffle, the 66 of J.J. Yeley, and now the 50 of Kaz Grala. These guys have to race their way in, and these guys are still 3 wide back here. 3 Fords, 3 wide. He's allowing the top 4 to get away. 3 of the Hendrick Chevrolets. I'm sorry, 2 of the Hendrick Chevrolets. Elliott and Bowman with Keselowski and Truex. Now Keselowski jumps to the outside, debuting a new partnership with Jack Roush and Brad Keselowski forming RFK Racing. And now already having some speed here at Daytona. It's the former series champion Brad Keselowski leading off turn 4, but now Chase Elliott jumps to the outside of the tri-oval. Elliott went high, nobody went with him, not even his teammate, the 48 of Alex Bowman. But now you can see the 5th place on back beginning to close in. That's Chase Briscoe getting pushed by Kurt Busch, Kyle Larson, and Ryan Blaney. And look how quickly they caught those at a group of 4 drivers. And now you see Briscoe had a huge run. Elliott trying to block. Elliott drops back low. Now Briscoe to the outside for the lead. And Chase Briscoe, he started outside the top 15, and he has already climbed his way to the lead with his Mahindra number 14 for Stewart-Haas Racing. There's the defending Daytona 500 champion Michael McDowell being pushed by the 66 J.J. Yeley. Currently, Yeley is in position to advance into the Daytona 500. And right now, Greg Biffle would fall back on his qualifying speed as all of the, with the exception of Yeley, all of the open cars are mired back here in this second pack, and they are losing a lot of time to the lead pack. Kevin Harvick, Greg Biffle, Austin Cindric, the 21 of Harrison Burton, the 8 of Tyler Reddick. 14, though, Chase Briscoe continuing to lead the way, but now here comes the Hendrick teammates. Elliott and Larson trying to team up to get by the 14, but Larson jumps to the outside, but while Elliott stays on the bottom. Elliott looked like he was going to go high to block the 5 of Larson, then he dropped back down low, and now Larson getting pushed by his former teammate Kurt Busch in the 45. And that second pack back there is losing so much time. And we saw the top 4 break away earlier in the race just a few laps ago, but once 5th place on back got single file, once he got lined up, they were able to run him down very quickly. But as you see the 5 of Kyle Larson now going for the lead off of turn 4, that's basically what we're seeing back here. I mean, got the 15 of Riley Herbst, the 50 of Kaz Grala, 51. The paint scheme's not loading up on the 51. That is Cody Ware for Rick Ware Racing. Have a lot of good cars, a lot of cars that started up front, like that 20 of Christopher Bell. So we know that 20 car has the speed to run up and lead this race. But he's mired back here in this pack. He can't really go anywhere. You see Kevin Harvick trying to go 3-1 on the outside. He has no help from behind. Now Michael McDowell and J.J. Yeley losing time to the front pack as Kurt Busch, his first race at 2311 Racing, now leading here in the second race of the duels here at Daytona. His new boss man, Denny Hamlin, he took the checker flag in the first duel race. And right now, as we speak currently, with this race not being over yet, Denny Hamlin is technically the point leader at this point because you get 10 points if you win your duel race. You get 9 if you get second. Is basically another free stage minus the playoff point. And now Briscoe back with the outside help from his teammate Eric Almirola. This is the final, more than likely the final duel race for Eric Almirola. It was announced during the offseason that Almirola will not return to Stewart-Haas Racing in 2023 and that he will retire from full-time racing at the end of the year. So what could be his final race in the duels, a race that he won last year. Now, of course, on Sunday, his final start in the Great American Race. But as Almirola's career is coming to a close, Chase Briscoe's career is coming. It's just the beginning. He really struggled last year in his rookie year. Finished 23rd in points, only had 3 top 10s. He was in contention to win at Indianapolis last year, but things just did not really materialize into a good year. Got a new primary sponsor on that car for 2023. And of course, with the practice coming back, with qualifying coming back, I do expect a lot of good things out of this 14 car as we enter a brand new year, as he just got passed by the 5 of Kyle Larson for the lead, and now the 45 pushed by his Toyota teammate Martin Truex Jr. They now go to the top 2. But Busch dropped down. Truex was unable to clear Kyle Larson. Side by side for the lead. Kurt Busch on the inside. Martin Truex Jr. on the outside. They come off turn 4. This is about a 9-car breakaway here at the front, and they have completely driven off from everybody else. Here they are. Here's another pack just coming across the line. This time it's led by the 20 of Christopher Bell and the 2 of Austin CINDRIC. And they are about to catch the 34 and the 66. That is good for some of the open cars to get by that 66 of JJ Yeley. They're almost four wide back here. Oh, they are gonna go 4 wide. Look at Chastain in the middle. Contact! Chastain and Kaz Grala. How did they not wreck right there? Grala trying to race his way in. Chastain just trying to make his way to the front. Grala now has to 55 with Josh Williams pushing him by the 1. Austin CINDRIC, though, still leading this second pack. And as they are approaching the 34, Michael McDowell, and the 66 of JJ Yeley. There's that green and black number 15. That is Riley Herbst. This is Riley Herbst's very first start in the NASCAR Cup Series. Right here in a dual race. He's never competed in a Cup Series race. That will change, at least for a points race, that will change on Sunday, but this is his first start in a Cup Series car. Back up front, though, in the lead pack, Kurt Busch now getting pushed once again by Martin Truex Jr., but will Truex be able to clear second or third place this time? He does not, but he fights his way to the outside of the 45. Give the lead back to the 19, your pole center, Martin Truex Jr. Now Kurt Busch, the 45, he's going to have a push on the 10 of Almirola, as KESELOWSKI has a push on the 9 of Chase Elliott. And Busch has a run on the 19. Will he jump high entering turn 1? He stays glued to the back bumper of the 19. Actually, I don't think he was able to get to the back bumper of the 19. That 19 is really strong. I mean, he did qualify second for a reason. That 19 has a lot of speed. And every time the 19 gets shuffled back, he's able to work his way back up to the front. Coming off turn 4 again. This time they're 3 wide for the lead. That's the 6 of Brad Keselowski on the outside. Trying to pass the 45 for Kurt Busch and his former teammate Ryan Blaney in that number 12. Back to the second group back here. They are almost half a track behind. I mean, the leaders are just now exiting turn number 2, and the second pack is just now going across the start and finish line. And currently, the 50 of Kaz Grala is now in contention, or technically he's now in position to race his way into the 500. He is now ahead of JJ Yeley. So if this race were to end right now, it would be Kaz Grala racing his way in, and Greg Biffle using qualified speed from yesterday to lock himself on the grid. But now, look at that 55, Josh Williams getting pushed by Ross Chastain. They had a run entering turn 3, but that run kind of stalled out in the middle of the corner, and now the middle lane has run exiting turn 4 with Christopher Bell and Austin CINDRIC in that middle lane. But all of the open cars, though, are right here in this pack. You have Biffle on the bottom. You have Kaz Grala on the bottom. You have Yeley and Villeneuve in that middle lane. And you have Josh Williams getting pushed by Chastain to almost lead this pack here at the front. But now Christopher Bell fighting back to the inside, but as Chastain fights to the outside of Williams. 4 wide again. Williams had to get out the gas, make sure he doesn't get run over, and that ended up costing the 66 of Yeley. We are still green here at Daytona. Kaz Grala once again push out to the front of this lead pack. Austin Cindric now leading the outside lane. Harrison Burton trying to work that third lane. And I know that some of these guys, all these guys, are getting so frustrated because there is more cars in this pack right here than there are at the front of the field, but they're not making any time. And that's why right there, Austin Cindric, instead of working with the 20 of Bell, he jumps to the outside, entering turn 3. He got pushed by his former teammate of the 21 of Harrison Burton. Now Burton stays up top. He'll have help from the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Remember, this is not for the lead. This is a second pack, over a half a track behind our actual leaders. And let's go back and take a look at them. And here they are, just now exiting turn 4. Kyle Larson in control of the race currently. Kurt Busch, his first race with 2311 Racing. Yeah, Brad Keselowski, his first race with RFK Racing. And I know this is, a super speedway race. The draft is a key component of this race. But I'm sure it has to feel pretty good, though, as of right now, just to be able to have the speed to run up front like what we're seeing out of Kurt Busch and Brad Keselowski joining 2 different teams. And joining at least for Kurt Busch, joining a different manufacturer. Went from Chevrolet to Toyota. Keselowski went from Penske to RFK, but he stays as a Blue Oval. Speaking of Blue Oval, here comes another one on the outside for the lead. This time it's to 14 to Chase Briscoe. It's really interesting to see some of the guys up here at the front because we had quite a few guys like the Hendrick Chevrolets that, they focus on speed. They focus on qualifying. That's why we saw so many up inside the top 10. We saw, we have William Byron on the pole for the 500. But we also saw a lot of guys who didn't really focus on speed. They focused more on handling, like the 14 of Chase Briscoe, like all of these Stuart Haas cars, some of the Trackhouse cars. They focus more on the handling right now with the 14 and the 10 up here. That was probably maybe a pretty good strategy right now. But then again, the 5 and the 9 looks to be really strong as well. Racing here from Daytona. We are still green. We are going to take a commercial break. But we will be right back here at Daytona. You're watching the running of the 2022 Blue-Green Vacations Duels from Daytona, Duel Race number 2. We are back live here at Daytona. The cars are on pit lane getting service for fuel and tires as we are under yellow here for the first time tonight. The caution lights around the speedway is flashing, so we are under yellow as looks like the 5 of Kyle Larson is going to win the battle off of pit lane. And looks like he's going to be followed by his 2 Hendrick teammates, Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman. They will be 2nd and 3rd, followed by Kurt Busch and Martin Truex Jr. Top 5 off pit lane. Now, at the top of your screen, you see your ticker. We're not quite sure why, but the caution, the yellow on the ticker, indicating that the caution is out, is not working apparently. We are on lap number 29, entering lap 30, but we are under yellow. And this caution, it came out for debris. It was a debris caution thrown by NASCAR. Put the yellow out, and that was actually a really good break for everybody on track because we were just moments away, just a few laps away from what would have been green flag pit stops because the pit window is about 35 laps. About 35 to 38 laps is the pit window. And we were about maybe 7 laps away from what would have been the beginning of green flag pit stops. And if you are a open car, if you are a guy trying to race your way into the 500, a green flag pit stop would be even more of a headache. Puts a lot more pressure on not only you but on your pit crew than it would be under yellow, and that was really a big break for all those guys as well. All the open cars to not worry about having to perform under green flag pit stops in a situation like this. Now, bad news for Michael McDowell fans. Under caution, the 34 has taken his car behind the wall. And not quite, we haven't heard why the 34 went behind the wall, but we saw quite a few cars in that first duel race experience mechanical failures, whether it was engine failure or transmission failure. But Michael McDowell has taken his car to the garage area in that 34 car, and he is done for the night. And with McDowell already being locked into the 500, and with where he's going to finish tonight, Michael McDowell will be starting 38th on row 19 as he tries to defend his Daytona 500 win from a year ago. But the lights are out atop of the pace car, so we are going to go green. This time by 30 laps to go here at Daytona. We are now halfway through dual race number 2. We have the teammates on the front row, Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman on the inside of row 2 with the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., Kurt Busch and Chase Briscoe, Brad Keselowski, Eric Almirola, Greg Biffle inside the top 10. That team had a great pit stop, and Tyler Reddick will round out the top 10 as we are going to go back green. 30 laps down, but 30 to go here at Daytona. And a great restart there by the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. He jumps to the outside of Chase Elliott, traps Elliott in the middle, and here comes the 14 of Briscoe up high. And now Bowman swings it high to the outside of the 5 of Kyle Larson. They're going to be 3 wide again as they exit turn number 2. Down the back straightaway they go. And this Truex, a great push from the 14 of Briscoe. They're going to go 1-2 as they enter turn 3. Truex on the bottom, Briscoe up high. And now the 66 JJ Yeley is now in position to advance as Greg Biffle from the 44 is right there on the bottom in front of the 4 of Kevin Harvick. And now right there you saw Tyler Reddick kind of get out the gas. That slowed down Yeley, and now that allows Greg Biffle to get by in the 44. There's the 51 of Cody Ware. Remember the paint scheme not loading up on the 51 for some reason. He's getting pushed there by the 20 of Christopher Bell. Behind them, the 27 of Jacques Villeneuve and the 55 of Josh Williams, as well as the 50 of Kaz Grala beginning to lose the draft, as well as the 2, that's Austin CINDRIC. Not quite sure what happened there on that restart, but CINDRIC has lost touch with the lead draft. And now Chase Elliott back in control of the race, but Eric Almirola now back on the outside for the lead, pushed by Ryan Blaney. Now Blaney's going to have a push by the 19 of Martin Truex as Almirola went down low to cover Chase Elliott. Now Blaney drops down low. They're at the back of the screen. You see the 50 of Kaz Grala, one of the open cars. He has now lost the draft, so he is more than likely going to need a caution to get back in this thing. Or he needs some of these open cars to fall back and lose the draft as well. Right now, Biffle is in. Yeley would also be in. With the 55 of Josh Williams, the 27 of Jacques Villeneuve. They are still in this lead pack. And there's a pass right there by Yeley. So that would put Yeley in on racing his way in. And Biffle would have to fall back on disqualifying speed. That's how quickly things change here at Daytona. And now the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. on the outside, clears down low. Now Kyle Larson drops down low. That leaves Almirola up top with a 45 of Kurt Busch. How about Riley Herbst up here in the top 10? There's the 15 of Riley Herbst. That is a second car for Rick Ware Racing, a teammate of the 51 of Cody Ware. There's the 20 of Christopher Bell, the 1 of Ross Chastain, the 14 of Briscoe is now back here. And there's the 27 of Villeneuve, the 55 of Williams. Now Villeneuve goes high. Here comes Williams on the bottom, pushed by Brad Keselowski. So now it is Josh Williams, the second car in line to transfer, but he has to catch the 66 of Yeley. We still got 26 to go, though. It's still a long way to go here. A lot can happen here in 26 laps as Kurt Busch now going back up to the front, pushed by Kyle Larson. And you've seen Kurt Busch and Martin Truex working together quite a bit, running with each other, because there's only 4 Toyotas in this race: the 19, the 45, the 20. I think there might be one more Toyota somewhere here. Got the 19, the 20, the 45, and that may be it. So maybe just 3. Yeah, we only got 3 Toyotas on track. We got 13 Fords and 10 Chevrolets. So when it comes to, teammates, the Toyotas, they're at a disadvantage because they do not have the numbers on their side like the Fords do. We got Almirola, we have Blaney, we have Harvick, we have Briscoe all up here. And how about that 66 of Yeley up here? JJ Yeley for MBM Motorsports. He's done very well so far in this race. He's been able to stay in that transfer spot for much of the race. But Yeley, that's 66 owned by Carl Long. They have some speed. They are up here racing in the lead pack here at Daytona. And as Yeley's up here, his other competitors to knock him out of the 500, well, they're back here. And they're joined by the 6th Brad Keselowski, who Keselowski had a lot of speed earlier in the race. And now he's lost the draft to the lead pack from about 5 seconds. I can update you that the 51 of Cody Ware has been on and off pit lane. He's now being shown 1 lap down. There's Cody Ware, and now he's going to come back to pit lane, so more trouble for the 51 of Cody Ware. Also, the 8 of Tyler Reddick's on pit lane, so trouble for the RCR Chevrolet of Tyler Reddick. I believe he started 8th in this race, and we haven't really seen Tyler Reddick up front for much of the night. And now there he is on pit lane. And we just got word now that the 51 of Cody Ware has pulled behind the wall. So Cody Ware is done for the night, joining Michael McDowell. That's 2 Fords that the Toyotas and Chevrolets don't have to worry about now, as Elliott on the outside lane. You're going to have the 10 of Almirola behind him, but Almirola's not really close enough to get to the back bumper of the 9. Now Almirola jumps down low in front of the 66. 22 to go here at Daytona. Kurt Busch back in the lead. Now in that 45. Chase Elliott, though, he's going to get pushed here on the outside. Now Elliott's going to get pushed to the lead. And now Briscoe through the middle of the 14. We got the 20 of Christopher Bell, the 4 of Kevin Harvick, the 1 of Ross Chastain. They lost the draft very early in the race, but now they're up here with a shot to win as we're coming to 21 to go here at Daytona. The 9 of Chase Elliott leading the race as we jump back to the second pack of cars led by the 6 of Brad Keselowski. And the caution lights are on. Caution flag is back out here for the second time tonight. And hearing that there is some oil on the racetrack, and it is from the 51 of Cody Ware. There's some oil down on pit lane. So NASCAR has thrown the yellow flag here for the second time tonight. So time to restack them here for another restart. We'll have 21 on track with 20 on the lead lap. 8 of Tyler Reddick is back on track. He is currently being shown 2 laps down. But we'll have to wait for the ticketer update. But Tyler Reddick should be getting at least one of his laps back, more than likely. And with 20 to go, these guys, they are good to go on fuel. So fuel is no longer a problem. Question will be, do these guys want tires? Do they believe that tires could be an advantage in the closing 20 laps of this race? We're going to wait and see what they do as they come off turn number 4. But right now we have the 9 of Chase Elliott leading. He is a 2-time dual winner. Followed by the 45 of Kurt Busch, who won his dual race back all the way in 2011, 11 years ago. Driving the 22 for Roger Penske. Martin Truex Jr., we talked about him being a bridesmaid when it comes to these super speedways, but never a bride. He's in 3rd. Let's see what they do as they come off turn number 4. Appears that they're all going to stay out here with 20 laps to go. So we're going to go to a commercial break, and the restart will be coming up next here on the 4Y Broadcasting Network. Stay tuned. Okay, so we are going to go green this time by here on lap number 43. So we're going to have about 17 laps to go, about lap 44. We're gonna have about 17 to go when we come back green here. This time by, we got Chase Elliott back in the lead with Kurt Busch in second. The 20 of Christopher Bell had trouble on this yellow flag, and Christopher Bell has now taken his car to the garage area. They believe that some of the oil that was on track was actually coming from the 20 car. And the 20, his teammate Kyle Busch had trouble in the first race, and now Christopher Bell having trouble here in the second race. So something that Joe Gibbs Racing might want to look at before we go green on Sunday. But we are green now here in dual race number 2. 17 to go. And once again, that outside line just doesn't seem to get able to get a good launch. But now the 19 of Truex jumps to the outside of Elliott for the lead. Martin Truex to the lead. Kurt Busch on the outside. He'll have help from the 12 of Ryan Blaney. And now Kurt Busch falls in line behind the 19 of Truex. Ryan Blaney, the second car, the first car now back to being the second car in the outside lane. It was the middle lane for a quick moment as he saw an aggressive move by the 66 of JJ Yeley. He jumped up on that third lane. He had a great run, but now he had no help, and now he falls in the clutches of the 15 of Riley Herbst and the 21 of Harrison Burton. And most importantly, some of the open cars, Williams and Grala and Biffle and Villeneuve. But Yeley, if I'm Yeley though, can't really be worried about the 44 Greg Biffle, because if Biffle races his way in, that means Yeley's in. So as you see the 55 of Josh Williams again, I feel like there's something wrong with the 15 of Riley Herbst. I just do not believe the 15 has the speed to be able to run with the leaders up here, and I believe that Riley Herbst may have a problem as well, because the 15, look how much it's like the 15 just does not have any pace right now. And you see a lot of cars continuing to go by that 15 car, and whatever's going on though, it caused Josh Williams, it's caused Jacques Villeneuve and Kaz Grala to lose the draft once again to the 66 car. But now Yeley and Chastain losing touch with the cars in front. That could be a saving grace, so for these guys back here, should they stay single file. Harrison Burton, though, gives up the bottom. He drives up high, allows Villeneuve on the bottom. I'm not sure what that move was about. Burton's going to have the 44, though, Greg Biffle behind him. And they need to get single file because now Yeley is side by side with Chastain. 14 to go this time by as we look at back up here in the front, the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. has definitely had the car to beat, in my opinion, all night long. He's had to work for it though. A lot of these guys, they're not just laying over in the weeds. They are trying to fight their way to the front. And look at Ryan Blaney. He almost had the 19 cleared, but he didn't have enough help, and Kyle Larson had a big push from the 14. Now he drops down low behind the 19. Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Larson, they made the championship 4 a year ago, as did the fourth car on the bottom, the 9 of Chase Elliott. And they made the Final 4 last year, and you have to expect that they could be in that Final 4 easily this year. And now the 15 of Riley Herbst has came to pit lane. So the 15 of Riley Herbst on pit lane. His teammate Cody Ware went behind the wall earlier in the race, hearing that maybe a engine failure on the 15. And he's now taking his car to the garage area as well. So a tough night, a tough race here for Rick Ware Racing. Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Eric Almirola has lost the draft, and now Yeley getting passed by the 27 of Jacques Villeneuve. This group was able to run down Yeley and Chastain, so now put the 27 in the Daytona 500 as we speak, coming to 12 to go. But Villeneuve's going to have to do some blocking. He has Yeley, he has Grala, he has Williams. If I'm Greg Biffle, if I'm that 44, like I'm already in, and you're surrounded by a bunch of cars that are not in, and they're going to do whatever they have to do to make their way into the biggest race of the year. If I'm Biffle, I'm just staying out of the way. Or if I'm just staying in the back and just try to at least finish the race, get as the best, starting spot I possibly can. But most importantly, just do not get this car crashed before Sunday's race. And now the 50 of Kaz Grala looks like he went up to try to block the 21. Almost some contact was made as Kaz Grala now in contention, now in position to advance into the 500. So you have two different races going on at two different ends of the racetrack. Single file up here with Truex, Blaney, Briscoe, Elliott, Bowman, and Larson. That's the longest we've seen anybody. That's the longest we've seen the front pack single file this entire race. They've been going at it over, and now it's only looks to be a 6-car breakaway right now. Kurt Busch losing touch with the leaders. And now Kaz Grala still leading the transfer cars. And about to be 4 wide as Josh Williams made an aggressive move, and now Williams coming to pit lane. Trouble for the 55 of Josh Williams. Another car experiencing some trouble here late in the race, and it's one of the open cars trying to race his way in. Is it a flat tire or is it something more severe? But either way, he is watching his hopes of racing in the Daytona 500 going away with 10 laps to go, and now Williams, his car is stopped on pit lane. Possibly a flat tire, we are not quite sure yet. But now at the front we have a 4-car breakaway with Truex, Elliott, Bowman, and Blaney. Telling you, man, that 19 is strong. He has some speed, and that Bass Pro Shops Toyota. We got a duel right here with Keselowski and Almirola. They are 8th and 9th. Kevin Harvick is 10th, all by himself. We got Harrison Burton leading the charge with Kaz Grala and JJ Yeley. Now Grala goes high. He goes behind the 8 of Tyler Reddick's. Yeley stays down low behind the 21 of Harrison Burton. But these guys back here, they got to get going because the 27 of Villeneuve cannot lose a lot of time to Yeley and Grala. And now with Williams out of the picture, for the most part, that's one less driver that these guys have to worry about. And I believe we are under caution again. And we are under caution again with 8 to go here in duel race number 2. And Josh Williams is back on track. Now that caution could have been a huge break for Josh Williams. Because if he was the first car 1 lap down, he will get the free pass and he'll be back in this thing. So that caution could have been a saving grace for the driver of the 55. We're going to have to see what happens here as they will come back off of turn 4 and they will pick up the pace car. Martin Truex Jr. leading with 7 to go. We're probably going to go green with less than 5 to go. So it's going to be a nail-biter finish on who races their way into the Daytona 500. There's the pace car picking up the leader, Martin Truex Jr. So, what is going to happen now? Can Martin Truex Jr. finally get his very first win on a super speedway, even if it is a non-points paying race? And who races their way in? We're about to find out after the break here at Daytona. Here under caution here in the 2022 BlueGreen Vacations Duels from Daytona. We'll be back right after this here on the 4 Wide Broadcasting Network. Time to go back green here with what will be 4 laps to go here at Daytona to decide who will race in Sunday's Daytona 500, but also who will start where in the 500. Before we went a break, we were talking about how big of a break this caution was for Josh Williams, but that is no more. The 55 of Williams has taken his car to the garage area, and Josh Williams will not race in the Daytona 500. So we have Williams out. We already have Biffle in. So we have 3 drivers trying to race their way in. The 66 of Yeley, the 50 of Kaz Grala, the 27 of Jacques Villeneuve. And they are all right together on track as the pace car enters pit lane. 4 to go with Martin Truex Jr. back up front, leading us underway with 4 laps to go at Daytona. And it's a great restart with the 19. Chase Elliott was able to drop into second in front of his teammates Alex Bowman and Kyle Larson. But it's Ryan Blaney getting pushed by the Kurt Busch's number 45. Now Blaney drops down low. And now you have Busch's number 45 pushed by the 6 of KESELOWSKI. Look at Yeley trying to stay with the lead pack, but there's the 50 of Kaz Grala. You have CINDRIC back here, the 1 of CHASTAIN. You have to wonder if some of these guys are just laying back, just waiting for a disaster to strike, because they do not want to be involved. But Villeneuve, he has to get up there. He has to get to Yeley and Grala. Yeley has caught the back of the lead pack, but it's still Martin Truex Jr. and Ryan Blaney first and second. And now Blaney jumps to the outside for the lead. Looks like they might go 3 wide. Here comes Almirola up top in the 10. 3 wide back here. Harrison Burton on the bottom. Here comes Kaz Grala. Grala is going to get pushed by the 66 of J.J. Yeley. So now put Kaz Grala in the Daytona 500. And now Yeley and HARVICK falls to the back of this pack, but back up front though, it is the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. leading the dual race number 2 here at Daytona. Ryan Blaney getting pushed by Kurt Busch for 2nd place. And Busch is going to push Blaney into 2nd, but now Blaney drops down low in the lead, but it's Kurt Busch on the outside. They come off turn number 4. It will see the white flag here in dual race number 2, and is that Kaz Grala is coming to pit lane. Kaz Grala on pit lane as we enter the final lap. What is wrong with the 50 of Kaz Grala? He is on pit lane as we enter the final lap, and he was in position to advance. But Grala on pit lane. Yeley now back in the 500. And Yeley is so far ahead of the 27, he does not have to worry about Jacques Villeneuve. But back up front though, it is Chase Briscoe now leading, pushed by Brad Keselowski. Unbelievable last lap turn of events. Kaz Grala on pit lane, but it's Chase Briscoe, the sophomore driver, trying to win here at Daytona. They come off turn 4 to the checker flag, and it's going to be the 14, Chase Briscoe, winning at Daytona. Brad Keselowski comes on 2nd, and Aric Almirola in 3rd, as the Fords were able to team up and beat the Toyotas and the Chevrolets. And heartbreak, we just got word it was a tire down on the 50 of Kaz Grala, and that tire going down is going to put the 66 of J.J. Yeley and MBM Motorsports in the Great American Race for Sunday's race. Yeley races his way in as bad luck strikes the 50 of Kaz Grala. The 44, Greg Biffle, also will make the Daytona 500. He will start shotgun in the field on row 20 as Biffle will fall back on his qualifying speed from yesterday afternoon Jacques Villeneuve, the 27, will miss the Daytona 500. Kaz Grala, and he had a pretty good lead on Yeley. I believe Yeley was losing the draft off of the cars ahead of him, and Grala was going to race his way in until a tire went down. He had to come to pit lane, otherwise he was going to crash the car. And that is just something that you never see. That's something that you would never expect as we enter the final lap in one of these dual races. And Kaz Grala, a flat tire will keep him out of the Daytona 500. That is unbelievable here at Daytona. So, as dual race number 2 comes to a close, take a look here at the race results. We had Chase Briscoe, your winner, his first ever Cup Series win, even if it is a 9-points race. Still a checker flag and a lot of momentum entering the Daytona 500, but also entering the Cup Series season. Great run by Brad Keselowski, second. Eric Almirola, Kurt Busch, and Ryan Blaney, your top 5. Martin Truex Jr. led a race high 23 laps, but ends up 6th. Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, and Harrison Burton, your top 10. With Kevin Harvick and Austin Cindric, your top dozen. Then further back, J.J. Yeley, 13th, but that's enough to get him into the show. Ross Chastain, 14th, and there you see Jacques Villeneuve misses the show. Greg Biffle makes it in on qualifying. Then Tyler Reddick, he had trouble. Ends up 17th. Kaz Grala, Josh Williams, Riley Herbst, Christopher Bell, Cody Ware, and Michael McDowell. So that is completely crazy on how that race turned out. But we now know the 4 open cars that will race on Sunday. Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle, J.J. Yeley, and David Reagan, the 4 open cars that races their way or qualify their way into the Great American Race. And now we're going to take a look here at how the grid will be lined up for Sunday's Great American Race. So we got William Byron and Martin Truex Jr. on the front row like we knew. And now your dual winners, Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe, will make up row number 2. And there you see Ryan Newman and Greg Biffle, the 60 and the 44, will round out the field on row number 20 as they will fall back on qualifying speed from yesterday. So, that is all here from Daytona, but the action is not over yet because we still have an action-packed show coming up here in the next couple of days. Tomorrow we have the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series qualifying and race. And then on Saturday, the NASCAR Xfinity Series qualifying and race. And then on Sundays, the NASCAR Cup Series will kick off their season with the Daytona 500. So there's a lot more coming up here on the 4 Broadcasting Network, here on Twitch, also on Mark Draft TV on YouTube. Thank you guys for joining us here for the broadcast, and we will see you tomorrow for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series NextEra Energy Resources 250 here from Daytona. Welcome back.